sometimes when I come to make these weekly videos, it feels like there's not that much to talk about. So what do I talk about? Even though it does feel like there's not much to talk about, it's because you're making little incremental moves rather than big exciting ones. So it feels like you're kind of doing nothing, but you're really working all the time. Your mind's at work, you know, developing stories and thinking about ideas and ways to solve problems. It never ends. It's just that you tend to feel like when you get in front of the camera like this, you want to give some exciting news or tell a horror story that you've just been through or something like that. But most of the time it's just plugging away and doing things. So, and it's important to not, what's the word I'm looking for? Try and overemphasize things to try and make it interesting, you know. Just keep it simple, keep it real. People will relate to that, so yeah, just be you and be happy with being you. Excuse me. I seem to have this throat thing for weeks which I just can't seem to shake. I guess it's the cold weather, I don't know. Yeah, so in the last week or so, I have been thinking about the art of resurrection, how to, thinking more and more about the story and how it might look when it's filmed, and still trying to work out where the money's coming from and the usual things. And I've thought about shorts that could be done simply, but again, got to find the money somewhere. So the money idea, and not just me, every filmmaker, the money idea is always, where to get the money is always at the back of our minds. So I've been thinking, you know, kind of ideas around shots and locations and colours, and it looks like I'm going to have to rethink some casting options. So, you know, I've had a lot of little things going on in the back of my mind. But also, I met a wonderful woman this week who is looking at helping with writing something which has been ongoing for a little while. And Nat and Scott, if you're watching, hopefully I'll have some news about that in the coming months. Even though I said I feel like I don't really have much to talk about, I still managed to make notes about not being able to talk about much. It's just like making notes on this are a problem I have. I think I've mentioned it before. Waiting for streaming news on Kin Spirits. I know as soon as I get that, I'll mention it here and put something on social media, but it's very close. I want to, I'll tell you when I tell you. So today, when I'm filming this, is actually Saturday the 10th. So expect some news about Kin Spirits possibly getting to a festival. Today, if you hear nothing or see nothing on social media, then you'll know it didn't. Casting, money. Yeah, I've kind of already talked about all the things I was going to talk about. There's one other thing I wanted to say, and I'm always thinking about where's the money coming from. Excuse me. And how even to, you know, looking at crowdfunding, it seems like I looked at a whole lot of things, asked AI like everyone does now, and they all came back with the same, everything seemed to come back with the same thing, because crowdfunding is so competitive, so many people do it, And so many people don't make their targets. And I've been down that path, and I know how frustrating and depressing that can be. I'm trying to work out the best way of doing that if I go down that path. And it seems to be that you need to shoot some film, some scenes, really show really show people what the story's about, show them the quality of your work, you know, something they can get engaged with, see the actors, how they interact, like the story, you know, something for people to really get invested in and want to see come to life, which makes complete sense. However, to do something of that quality, of course you need money to shoot that. It might not be much, but as any indie filmmaker would tell you, any amount is a lot as an indie filmmaker. So lately I've been trying to work out, you know, how could I even just scrape a few grand together to do something like that. And, you know, one idea I had was, I have this camera, which is a Sony FX30, which I shoot on. I keep it, it's all basic settings and, you know, idiot proof basically is what I'm trying to say, is how I use it. And I have explored a little bit when I first got it, and the truth is that I'm not a technical guy, and I'm not someone, I force myself, and I'm completely honest with you, I forced myself to go out and use it, other than in these videos, and I have to force myself. I mean, it's the word's there, force. It doesn't come naturally to me, and it doesn't, I don't find it a creative element when it's in my hands. When it's in someone else's hands, I see wonderful things happen, but I know it's kind of not my thing, you know? So I'm thinking, why don't, and even though I think the camera, using a camera makes videos like this look really nice compared with, you know, an iPhone or something. But iPhones have very good quality these days. Even just the base models, you put it in cinematic mode and it looks pretty damn good. Not as good as this, for sure. So I'm starting to think, well, because I'm not a camera guy, and because I want to get some money together and try and shoot some things to try and help some of these projects move forward, maybe I should just sell the camera and, you know, the bits and pieces around it, lens and ND filters and all that kind of stuff, and use that to try and film some things that may help with getting funding, whether it's crowdfunding or showing people you might want to invest or something like that. So that's something I'm debating with myself about at the moment. So if you have any thoughts, please do let me know. But for things like shooting these videos, which is really all I'm using the camera for, and really all I have since I've got it, why not just use the phone? Maybe get a gimbal so I can easily take it anywhere, and that might help me mix up the content a bit as well. So I'm going to, over the next week or two, I'm holding back on my usual instinct to just rush in and do it. I'm going to do a few experiments with my phone and just see how it looks, how the quality looks, and see if it's okay. I'm pretty sure it's going to be, but I know this looks better, and there's a little part of me that thinks, well, you're a filmmaker, you should make it look as good as you possibly can. But, you know, if the purpose, and the other thought I had along those lines was, if I'm doing these videos that look nice using this camera, then when I show you footage from films or clips, things like that, they're not, maybe there's no difference there, and you can't, maybe you don't appreciate, I'm just speculating here, of course, I could be talking complete nonsense, but maybe you don't appreciate the work in the film as much because I'm using a camera which produces a nice image doing these videos. I don't know, maybe that's madness, but in my head I'm thinking things like this as well. That maybe if I do it with an iPhone, shoot these with an iPhone, and then when I cut in with bits from a film, you can really tell the difference. So that's where my mind has been wandering. So I don't know. I suspect selling this camera and trying to turn that money into something I can just shoot a scene or two with to help get funding for other things may be the right way to go. But as I say, I'm going to spend the next week or two thinking about it, shooting some things on my phone, and having this exact same setup and shooting with my phone and seeing how it looks, and all that kind of thing. So, but if you have any thoughts about any of the things I've talked about, just let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion, because any filmmakers that are watching, or any just camera people that are watching, will have more insight into some of these things than I do. So, don't be shy to jump in there and tell me what you think. And if you think going down that iPhone path and using the money to shoot a few scenes is the right one or the wrong one, let me know. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.